Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a big one, North Tampa's housing market. We're talking about the promise, the problems, and yeah, the huge potential. We're zeroing in on those suburbs just north of the city, the ones that have absolutely blown up over the last 10 years.
You've probably heard this before, right? It's the dream being sold to thousands of people flocking to Florida. And look, it's a powerful message, super optimistic. But what's the full story behind the sales pitch? Let's peel back the layers. All right, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the promise. What's pulling everyone in? Then, the reality, what people who live there are actually saying. After that, we'll crunch the numbers, check out what's under construction for the future, and then, the big one. Is North Tampa actually for you?
So first things first, let's talk about the promise. What's the vision being sold for places like Wesley Chapel and Land O'Lakes? This is the why, the thing that gets thousands of families to pack up and move.
And the promise is, well, it's a good one. It's this perfect mix of modern, comfortable living and a savvy financial move. We're talking a self-contained suburban paradise, right? Brand new homes, A-plus schools, pools that look like they belong at a resort, and you're just a quick jump from the highway. I mean, on paper, what's not to love? It's the dream.
Okay, so that's the sales pitch. That's the dream. But what's it really like on the ground? What are the folks who actually live there experiencing day to day? Let's dive into that, because for every promise, there's a real story.
And boom, right away, we hit our first big disconnect. That whole convenient access thing, it kind of slams headfirst into the daily grind of traffic. What looks like a 10-minute drive on Google Maps can easily turn into a soul-crushing crawl when you've got thousands of new neighbors all trying to use the same roads that haven't quite kept up. And this quote, wow, it really nails the strong feelings some people have about the trade-offs here. I mean, there's a real sense of loss for the natural Florida, the woods, the swamps, that got paved over to build these huge new communities.
So when you put it all together, you see a community really struggling with some serious growing pains. You've got cookie-cutter homes, worries about build quality because everything's going up so fast, and yeah, when you pave over a swamp, you sometimes get new flooding problems. It's pretty much the textbook definition of suburban sprawl.
All right, so we've got these two totally different stories, right? On one hand, it's the perfect suburb. On the other, it's a sprawling headache. So let's cut through the noise and look at the hard data. Let's see what the numbers are actually telling us.
Okay, now this is interesting. Check out what the data's saying. For the first time since 2019, the absolute feeding frenzy seems to be over. Inventory is up, prices are actually down a bit, the power is shifting. What does that mean for you? It means buyers finally have some breathing room and, this is key, some real negotiating power again.
Now, let's talk about a hidden cost that trips up a lot of home buyers. It's called the CDD fee. It's not your mortgage, it's not your HOA, it's an extra tax basically to pay for all those shiny new roads and amazing community clubhouses. And we are not talking chump change here. This can easily tack on a couple $1,000 to your tax bill every single year. This is so important to understand. Think of your monthly housing costs like a pizza. The mortgage is just one slice. You've also got property taxes, HOA dues, maybe that CDD fee. And in Florida, you have a giant slice for homeowners insurance. Seriously, it can be shockingly high because of hurricane risk. You absolutely have to budget for the whole pizza, not just the one slice. And speaking of insurance, let's talk flood risk. Remember how we mentioned paving over swampland? Well, that can create brand new flood zones. And if your dream home is in one, flood insurance isn't a nice to have, it's mandatory if you have a mortgage. And that number? Yeah, that's what it can cost. An extra $3,000 or even more every single year.
Okay, so that's the picture today. But here's the thing. North Tampa is not sitting still. Not even close. Let's look ahead, because there are some massive projects in the works that are going to completely reshape this entire area. So to fight that endless suburb feeling, Wesley Chapel is literally building a downtown from scratch. We're not talking about another strip mall. No, this is a real, legitimate effort to create a walkable hub with offices, restaurants, shops, a place to actually be. This could totally change the whole vibe of living there.
And it's not just that one project either. All over the region, you're seeing huge infrastructure upgrades finally coming through. We're talking a better bridge, new roads designed to ease some of that crazy traffic, and more community stuff like a brand new YMCA. It all points to one thing: continued investment, and a whole lot of growth.
But then there's this. And folks, this is the big one, an absolute game changer. Over in Land O'Lakes, they're building a new city called Angeline. And it's not just another subdivision. It's anchored by a massive Moffitt Cancer Center campus, bringing, get this, an estimated 14,000 jobs, high-paying jobs. That's not just development. That is an economic earthquake that's going to reshape the whole county. Okay, let's bring it all home. What does all of this, the good, the bad, the stuff that's coming, mean for you? Let's boil it all down into a simple choice.
When you look at the two big players here, Wesley Chapel and Land O'Lakes, it really boils down to what you're after. Do you want that high energy, everything at your fingertips convenience? Or do you want something more tranquil, more focused on nature, and maybe a little more affordable? They're two very different flavors of the suburban dream. So, let's put it this way. You should probably pick Wesley Chapel if you're looking for those newer homes with the resort-style pools, if you need top-rated schools and tons of stuff for the kids to do, or if you just really prioritize shopping, entertainment, and a shorter commute. It's that all-in-one, high-energy suburb. On the other hand, you should probably look at Land O'Lakes if you're dreaming of a house on the water, something with a real connection to nature. If you want lower home prices, maybe a bigger yard, and just a quieter, less commercial vibe, then yeah, Land O'Lakes is probably your spot. It's the more peaceful choice.
And that brings us to the ultimate question for anyone looking at North Tampa, doesn't it? When a place grows this fast, are you buying into a boom or are you buying into a bubble? You've got this incredible, undeniable growth on one side and the very real risks and growing pains on the other. It's a tough balance.
Figuring out how to navigate a market this complicated is, well, it's the key challenge, right? You really need to understand all the pieces, the traffic, the future plans, those hidden fees, to make a smart decision. That's where getting some expert guidance can make all the difference.
So, whether you call it a boom or a bubble, one thing's for sure. North Tampa is a place that's changing, fast. We hope this breakdown gave you a clearer view of the whole picture. Thanks for watching.